Well, good morning, everybody. It's been a busy week. Lots of stuff getting done. Man, we got some really cool news going on. We got our pigs hauled off to the butcher this week, and then they were FFA pigs we bought off somebody, and then we fed them out for a couple months after the kids got done showing them. And now we got some coon pigs, which are lard pigs. So we're gonna learn how to do that. We buy lard to cook with, so we're gonna learn how to render our own lard and do all that. It is now fruit season, so we are starting to get a lot of different stuff growing. We've been picking some of the best strawberries and blackberries that I have ever seen. It's been really good on that level. So we've had that going on. We're gonna have a bumper blackberry crop this year. I'll show you guys. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I have two sections of blackberries planted, and one's about 400 foot long, and then one's probably about 150 foot long. But you can see every plant looks like that. They're just covered up, so that's really good news. But anyhow, my project that I'm going to be working on is gonna start now. I got with the county commissioner, and we've gotten with the electric company and all the different stuff required to do, and we're gonna start busting ground in the next couple weeks to put in our it's gonna be a 5-hole RV park. We're gonna have spots for 2 big campers, and then spots for 3 little campers, and then 3, maybe 4 little bed and breakfast cottages out there, and they'll all connect to our pond. And it's all gonna be right out here in this area. We're gonna have to do some tree trimming, building some fence. There's gonna be a lot of stuff done there, so that's gonna be really neat. It's gonna be top notch. I'm gonna landscape the living heck out of it. I'm planting cane all the way around. This won't open until next year sometime, but I'm planting cane all the way around the whole property to where when you're inside the actual little area, you won't be able to see in or out from the road. We're gonna have it where it's got blackout conditions, so the sunlight will at nighttime there won't be any interference with lights to where you can look at stars and stuff like that. It's gonna be pretty neat. So that's a neat project. I'm really looking forward to getting that going. Just a way to supplement some income, and that's gonna be forever money. You know, that'll be one good investment, but it'll last pretty much, you know, my life and my kids' life. There'll always be a little bit of an income. So the weeds are kind of bad out here, but I'll show you guys all those cactuses we planted. Every single one of them is budding and leafing out. They've really done a lot of good. So that's going to be cool to get that blocked in around the outside of the property to where animals aren't digging through and causing issues and stuff like that. So that's going to be really awesome. I got my skid steer up and running. It's been broke down for several months. And I've gotten really behind on a lot of stuff that we're doing. So getting that tractor back running is really nice. I've been able to do a lot of cleaning up. I'm getting some fence posts set. We're putting an 8-foot fence around our garden, and then we're going to run big cables across it. The posts are going to be old utility poles, and then we're going to run cables from poles all the way across each side. And then we're going to get shade cloths, and we're going to hook carabiners on them to where we can run them across the garden in the heat of the summer. We can actually cool that section down, so that's going to be neat. Been able to get a lot of dirt moved. I got gravel spread back around on my driveway. It's been good. Like I say, we got our pigs at the butcher. We picked up a half of beef the other day, so freezers are full. The plants are really starting to grow. Our corn is coming up really good. Everything's just kind of good. We got a bunch of the storm damage kind of cleaned up. Well, all the storm damage that any of the trees and problems that we had, we got cleaned up, so that's nice. I gotta split some of the firewood and get it stacked up still. A trailer full of that stuff. But anyhow, that's kind of what's been going on for our update for the last little while. But everything is really on par to be a really incredible year. I've done something different this year. Is I got to the point I almost used Roundup, and it was I literally dumped it in the bottle because my weeds were kind of overtaken. And everything I'm reading, you want living material in your garden, even if it's not the plants. So I ended up changing course at the last minute, thank God. I had some common sense come to me. And basically I come out here in the areas where we don't have anything, and it's getting some grass and stuff. But I just come out here mowed, and I pulled the weeds around where everything is, but I just mowed the rest of the weeds down that are into the mulch. And then I got to get over here and pull weeds. It's about time to harvest some onions and potatoes. But instead of spraying any chemicals or getting out here and pulling every weed, I'm literally just knocking them down. And it's a wide open enough space that I can do that. And then you can see where I'm trying to improve the soil. I planted these dicam radish, and I mean, they're thick everywhere, and they're sporadic. I mean, you can see they're just kind of everywhere. So this area he's pretty hard soil, so we put a bunch of wood chips and stuff down, and then I planted them radishes, which will dig a huge taproot, and then we'll just knock them off, and that taproot will stay in the ground. It's going to store up a bunch of nitrogen, and then over the next year it'll start releasing that, and it aerated the soil really good in the process. So that's really going to be a good deal, and we've done that all over. You can't, I don't know if I can see it from here, but this is our one sheep paddock, and we planted a bunch of that out there, and then we let the sheep graze on it, and they love it. They've ate most of it down. So that's going to really improve the soil quality out here in this area. And you can see over there, I had a big stack of poles and stuff that was out there when we were doing all the projects. I couldn't move them. I didn't have the ability, and my tractor was broke down. So I finally got all that cleared up, and that's going to be really nice. It was just a godsend getting that thing up and running. And our corn, I planted it in some soil we've never worked or done anything before, and I hauled a bunch of cow manure in that was old and had been sitting around for a while, and then I put a bunch of wood chips, and the wood chips that I could get my hands on were literally the pine chips you buy for bedding for animals, and I think it's going to work out pretty good. I have not had to weed this at all the corn's coming up, and we haven't even watered it but one time. We've had enough moisture coming in that it's worked out really good. So anyhow, that's kind of what's going on in my world. We're gonna work today. I've got a bunch of welding to do. My wife's wanted some clotheslines for forever, so I'm gonna weld her up some clothesline poles. I've got some implements I've built for my skid steer, and I'm gonna work on getting them all finished up and welded. And I got a whole bunch of projects. I'm starting my underground Wapiti greenhouse, so I'm going to weld the frame up for that, because I'm going to actually make it permanent, not a soft plastic deal. We're going to actually make it out of glass, tempered glass doors. So that'll be a kind of a thing going on. So anyhow, that's where we're at with what we've got going today. If you're new to the channel, I know you're thinking, well, this is dumb, this guy's just talking about whatever. This channel is basically the start to finish of what we're doing. I'm building a homestead. I've always kind of had gardens and animals, and I've read for years. So what we have is we have a about an 8-acre homestead. I have a big pond on my property. I do fly fishing. I am an author, and I write books, and then I take people fly fishing, and I do like some freelance writing, some books, and then I do a YouTube on fly tying. So my other YouTube channel is I've Got Bugs Fly Fishing. So anyhow, this channel I created to kind of show the process of our homestead. We're going to raise a lot of animals for our own food, which we've been doing for a while. And then we're going to raise organically and natural raised animals feathers to use for fly tying. So a lot of the stuff that people use in the fly fishing industry are really over chemicaled and somewhat toxic. And when we're tying, we're touching them materials with our hands all day. We're licking our fingers and getting them wet and then touching them. So I'm trying to create a product that is organic, it's natural, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's kind of what this is. And in the process, we're trying to raise all of our own food. I have a 100 by 100 garden, and then I have a 150 by 150 garden. One of them is a permaculture food forest that I just showed you. It's got all my fruit trees, orchards. We have any kind of fruit that'll grow in Oklahoma, from kiwis to figs, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, plums, apples, peaches, apricots, everything. It goes on. So anyhow, we have those two big gardens, we have that corn patch, and then my pond. And this is basically, we built it during COVID, and it was a place for us as a family to be able to hang out. My dad was dying of cancer. We didn't really have a lot of time together. We were both kind of somewhat, he was a really good equipment operator, and I'm kind of wannabe equipment operator. So we dug this pond ourselves. This used to be a wheat field. There was nothing here. There wasn't a single tree. We planted over 300 trees on our property. So that's what this channel is it's just basically showing how and what we're doing here. We started with a wheat field that had 2 pecan trees in it, had been abused for years, chemicals on it. They didn't actually use it to harvest the wheat. They did it to keep the wheat as a cover crop, to keep the weeds from blowing across the street into the cotton fields. So they didn't put a lot of time, effort, or anything in it, so it was depleted soil. So this whole process of what we're doing is rebuilding the soil and adding trees. You've seen where my radishes are. I have the fruit orchard there. Here is the front of our yard, and that is all going to be orchard as well. Now out there, I tried to plant wildflowers and none of them came up. I've tried 2 years in a row. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but anyhow, I'm going to figure that out, and that is going to be a wildflower meadow underneath all of those trees. We have bees. We actually had commercial honey operation for a while, but the chemicals from the cotton, it makes it really hard to do. So we've really streamlined that down, but we're trying to make it to where it's a safe haven for that. It's pretty cool with what we've done. We've established going from having any kind of anything, just dead chemical spray, and we've released and quit using any chemicals out here. And in the process, you can go out at my pond at nighttime, and the firefly lightning bugs that we had as a kid, they're out there by the hundreds. We haven't had them in decades, but leaving the soil alone, they've come back. There are horny toads out here. I've been pacing around looking because normally I see any, and today I don't, but there's hundreds of horny toads, or horned lizards, whatever you call them, out here, and they're a real rare animal. There's hardly any places around that have them anymore because, again, chemical spray. So doing what we're doing, we're building habitat for wildlife, and we're feeding our family. So anyhow, if you're new to the channel, that's kind of what's going on here. If you're a person who's been around on the channel, sorry to be redundant, but the channel is starting to grow pretty good. So I wanted to give a heads up. If this is the first video, this is what we're after. So we're going to raise all our own food. We're going to do it without chemicals. We do a lot of poly farming, to where when we grow plants, we don't grow like row crop stuff. We intermingle it all together, except where my corn is this year. But we intermingle plants together to where the roots work together with the fungi in the ground, and we have all the natural stuff the way God designed it to be. So that's what our channel is. So if you're new, thank you for coming. Please subscribe, like, share. If you are into fishing, go to our other page. I've got Bugs Fly Fishing. We have a Facebook page. I've got Bugs. Please go like, share, follow, all that kind of crap with that. And then our website is I'veGotBugs.com. I am an author. It has my writings there. You can buy my books. You can buy Flies I've Tied. You can buy t-shirts, hats, stickers, and all that kind of stuff. Everything you do helps support this dream and helps build back. Everything that you do, we're putting right back into this deal and trying to build a neat place where we can help the community. We're growing. We have a family of 3. We don't need as much stuff as we're growing. So we're going to try to grow, help share with the community, do a lot of good for a lot of people, and help one spot at a time, and hopefully lead by example. People will see what we're doing and go, holy crap, that method works. Let's do that. And you don't have to worry if you get a weed in your garden. You don't have to hoe everything. You don't have to spray everything. And you can grow a really good crop, really healthy crop, without having to do all that. So anyhow, that's what we're up to. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.